Hi, this is Adil Bhartia and welcome to TFIR. And today we have once again with us our analyst and friend Rob. Rob, welcome to the show. Today we are going to talk about AWS Outpost, which was, if I'm not wrong, recently announced, or it was announced earlier?
It was announced a year ago, but as vaporware, and then delivered at AWS reInvent in November. So.
Right. What is Outpost? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Outposts is a very interesting new release from Amazon where they're literally taking their cloud infrastructure, letting you buy some your own hardware, or actually you're buying hardware from them and extending their cloud into your data center. So it's, and in some ways, Outpost is a very apt name. You've created an outpost of the Amazon cloud on your control plane. Or we should talk about what that means, actually.
Right. So you're literally running their hardware on your premises.
Correct. Well, and your premises in this case might be colo, might be some other facility, but that's right.
So if I'm not wrong, there already been a solution like that where either Microsoft or other player, they do offer their hardware that you can run on your in your infrastructure and leverage their cloud. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, in a way, yes, and in a way, no. So people can buy servers and set up their own infrastructure. That's been around for as long as we've been selling IT. And we have hyper-converged infrastructure, or these sort of cloud infrastructures that are much more integrated, but you still manage and own them. Lately, we've been seeing this trend towards managed or tethered infrastructure, where you own the infrastructure and then somebody else comes in and manages it. Outpost is actually a step even further down the spectrum, where they own and manage the infrastructure for you, and you're literally, it's a very appliance black box type of solution. So sort of like we've seen, sort of an appliance style model for cloud.
I'm curious, what problem is Amazon trying to solve with Outpost?
So Amazon, interestingly, is backtracking a bit on the everything must be in the public cloud space. They've acknowledged, and this is one of the big things about Outposts, is they've really acknowledged that hybrid cloud is real, that people have a need to have on-premises infrastructure or compute infrastructure, managed infrastructure that is very close to where the data is being created. So like on a factory floor, or where there's a whole bunch of video or data analytics, or you have reasons from a country boundary, a jurisdictional boundary that says I can't transit information across these boundaries. And so Outposts is really addressing, for the first time, this idea that not everything is going to get subsumed into an Amazon managed data center. So it's a pretty big change for Amazon. Everybody else says, well, duh, yeah, of course, that's the way things are. But this is the first crack sort of in the overall cloud, all things cloud, all things in massive data center story for Amazon. It's not the only thing. They announced some other pieces too, where they're recognizing that cloud is coming to the edges, if you will, of the infrastructure.
And how is this solution different from other solutions which are already available in the market?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. Microsoft has Azure Stack, and then they have some newer Edge component pieces where it's a small Azure, basically a standalone Azure cloud. Google's been working on something called Athos, where they are running a Kubernetes control plane for you. It's the most extreme version of those capabilities, and there's other players in the market. The one that's top of mind to me is something like Platform 9, where they're really managing Kubernetes for you in that spectrum. And so they're literally managing an application for you, not all of the infrastructure. It's different in that this is really managed Amazon cloud. So this is the most extreme version that we've seen of the managed infrastructure, because they supply the hardware, they connect to it, they manage it. It's actually the control of that infrastructure is provided through Amazon's normal APIs. So this is really it's sort of like a little appendix from the Amazon cloud into your data center, but you're managing it through Amazon, not by talking directly to the systems.
And who would be the typical target audience for this?
So there's a lot of call right now for people who want very cloudy infrastructure. and they're building things on Amazon Cloud. They've been adapting their applications, their pipelines, the infrastructure pieces, the dependencies like S3 buckets and things like that to fit very tightly in Amazon. For companies who are all in on that model, this is providing a way to get the same management control plane, the same Amazon experiences to the things they've ported over into your local data center. So the use cases they really describe are things where you have a lot of local data transit and you need very high, very low latency, very high response times back to infrastructure. So a factory would be a good example, a hospital where you're trying to build an application that has to interact with doctors really quickly or has very little tolerance to control problems. Now, it's not clear yet that this addresses those control problems because it's not standalone infrastructure. It is tied back to Amazon's mothership. So there are cases where, if I need standalone infrastructure that has to work in an air-gapped environment or can't depend on internet connectivity, that has not been as clearly defined as a solution for Outpost specifically. Something like Azure Stack is actually much more able to operate completely autonomously.
So how people can use it, and what is going to be the cost of Outpost?
So a lot of those things are sort of still emerging. Supposedly, I personally haven't tried this. You can go to Amazon and just order Outposts. Sorry, I should be specific. AWS, not Amazon in this case. So you can go to AWS and order Outposts, and they will show up and deliver. It's an expensive unit. Even the smallest footprints are in the 200K range for a small populated rack. This is premium services, and it's a multi-year commitment, and you still pay usage fees for the things that are running inside of that infrastructure. So you're buying the gear and you're paying for the service, just like you had been. So there's a lot. This is not discount infrastructure, and it can't be because Amazon's not running an arbitrage where you can basically get Amazon services cheaper by putting them on premises through Outposts. So expect some fees. There's some interesting wrinkles behind this too, though, but that's going to take some more time to discuss.
And I'm just curious also that why is Amazon doing it? What impact it will have on the market? Can you talk about that?
I think it's going to have a big impact on market. So the companies that are doing hyper-converged infrastructure today, all the vendors who are selling you hardware or integrated solutions, need to be paying attention to this, not just the big three cloud providers, because this is really Amazon saying we are going to run all the infrastructure, right? They're crossing into the boundary of on-premises self-managed co-load gear that they hadn't crossed into before. So the impact in the industry will be very big, and I think it's going to force a lot of people to rally through what type of solutions they want and how quickly they need to deliver it, because it's real. This isn't just a press release from Amazon. There are people ordering it. They're going to start getting positive and negative reviews, and we'll wait to see how those things happen. But it's going to have a big impact in industry, and people need to be aware of it.
Yeah, we'll see what the pricing looks like and all those things. I'm curious about what impact it will have on the market, how competitors will react, and also how companies like RackN, because you will also be affected by this.
The impact is going to be tremendous. We think that this is really the sea change for the industry is coming. But to really discuss that, we're going to need another 10 minutes, I think. So why don't we follow up with how Outposts impacts the industry conversation?
Awesome. And if you like this topic, I would also say that you should subscribe to our channel and our newsletter, so you stay updated with all the topics that we discuss here. Rob, once again, thank you so much for taking your time out and talking about AWS Outpost. And I look forward to the next episode of this series. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.